What is up, guys? I normally don't go live, but we're going to do something differently. Apologize, I've been traveling. I'm at a hotel, so yeah, don't have the best lighting or anything like that. However, I did wanted to get this video going. This is kind of important and time sensitive material. I normally don't complain about bills and laws that they're trying to pass about 2A because it just seems like it would be never ending and it's super annoying to talk about, right? But these really pissed me off. And you probably honestly don't know about them. So I decided that I would share them with you. Let's see, I've never went live before. I don't think YouTube has the feature to do screen share, unfortunately, so I can't bring it up. But let me read them off to you, and I'll put the link into the description below, right? So the first bill is HR 30, which is Prevents Gun Trafficking Prohibition Act. There isn't a summary of it, of course, but as we know, that's probably going to be bad. HR 121 to provide for the hiring of 200 additional ATF agents and investigators to enforce gun laws. So let's talk about that for a moment. Why do you need 200 additional ATF agents to enforce gun laws? You already have enough ATF agents. They've been doing their job. Why do you need such a large influx of new hires, essentially, for the ATF? Unless you were planning on actually enforcing some new, very strict gun laws, such as confiscation, registration, or something along those lines, and you need bodies that's going to go out there. Also, just thinking the mentality of who the hell is going to go out there to enforce these laws. It's extremely dangerous and it's unconstitutional for that matter. And so the representative for that, the sponsor of that bill, keep this name in mind, is Sheila Jackson Lee. Okay. This is the same rep that she's based out of Texas. This is the same rep that also said, and I loosely quote, that I held an AR-15. I wish I had it, and it weighed as much as 10 boxes of moving or something, which, okay, 10 boxes of moving. How much does a box weigh? And what do you have, spaghetti for arms? Like, that doesn't make any sense. AR-15s are not heavy. No one is holding 10 boxes at one time while moving. The logic is just blown. All right, so that's one of the bills. And then we've got HR 125. HR 125 is to amend Title 18 United States Code to provide for a 7-day waiting period for a semi-automatic firearm, a silencer, armor-piercing ammunition, or large capacity ammunition magazine may be transferred. Okay, so let's break that down. So a 7-day waiting period for a semi-automatic firearm. So essentially, this is very similar to how California is. California has a cooling off period, is what they call it, which is 14 days. So they want to implement a 7-day waiting period for any semi-automatic handgun, which, why? That's retarded. We know that does not work. It's not needed. And is there something about, excuse me, there's something about having to pay for a product and not actually be able to walk out of the store with it because it's not yours yet, because you have to wait. That makes no sense. For silencers as well. As most of you know, that when you purchase a silencer, you have to fill out the tax stamp, which can take sometimes over a year. So a 7-day waiting period on a silencer is like, okay, I wish it only took 7 days. Armor piercing ammunition. Okay, yeah, that's just retarded. There should never be a waiting period for ammunition. I don't care if it's armor piercing, buckshot, whatever. I literally don't give a shit. There should be no waiting period for ammunition or firearms. Also, the next one will be large capacity ammunition magazine may be transferred. So what we know that means is going to be any 30 round, anything above 10 rounds essentially is going to be large capacity for them, and it's going to have a 7-day waiting period. And let's see. That bill is also by Sheila Jackson Lee, based out of Texas, okay? So we're beginning to see a trend here. The next bill, HR 127, let's see. Yeah, 127, which is also by Sheila Jackson Lee. I'm going to read the description to you. To provide for the licensing of firearm and ammunition possession and the registration of firearms and to prohibit the possession of certain ammunition. So again, we're going to break that down. Let's see. So they want licensing. Again, they want licensing of a firearm and they want registration of any firearm. And you need a license to possess a firearm. You need license to possess ammunition, it looks like. Of course, they want you to register the firearm, and they were going to prohibit the possession of certain ammunition. So I'm almost certain the possession of certain ammunition could be our common things such as 5.56, 2.23, 7.62, possibly even 9mm. They'll say these are military rounds or military style types of ammo that has no place on our street. Again, people use 5.56, 2.23 for hunting pigs, boars. Can't think of javelinas. That's what they are. So you cannot say that 5.56 is not a hunting round or 2.23 isn't a hunting round. They're used commonly all the time. They just literally don't know what the hell they're talking about. And as I mentioned before, this bill is also by Sheila Jackson Lee. So she's completely anti-Second Amendment. Next bill, also proposed by Sheila, to require the safe storage of firearms and ammunition and to require the investigation of reports of improper storage of firearms or ammunition. So think about this. That's a red flag law. Someone comes over to your house for whatever reason and they see that you have a firearm laying out or you have ammunition laying out for that matter. They can go and report you for unsafe storage of firearms, ammunition, and boom, you have your weapons confiscated, your ammo confiscated, or you might lose your rights altogether to even own firearms. So that's a very red flag law. And again, I don't think that you should be required to keep your guns in a storage or your ammunition. It's a free country and it's your house. You should be able to do whatever you please. If it's there for self-defense, putting it in a storage, you're really not the best idea in my opinion. Okay, and the last one here is by a Al Green representative. His name is, the bill is HR 167. It's to prohibit the transfer of a firearm at a gun show by a person who is not federally licensed firearms dealer. So essentially what they're trying to do is stop peer-to-peer selling. So let's say you go to a gun show or you find someone locally that wants to sell their firearm. You can only sell the firearm now through an FFL dealer, essentially, even if it's to another private person. So no more going to gun shows and buying, person to person, unless they are a firearms dealer or finding someone locally that wants to sell their firearm. No more of that. You'd have to go through a gun shop essentially and pay the FFL fee. So if you break that down and you think about it, you legally own the firearm. You've had it for a while. It's your property. You can do whatever you please with it. And here they are trying to tell you now essentially that you cannot sell your firearm to someone unless you take it through essentially a firearms dealer, which, I mean, if you think about it, the next thing that comes after that would be registration. So if I sell to someone else and I sell through a firearms dealer, they will, do a registration on it or something like that. So that's a load of crap. So these are the bills that I wanted to bring to your attention. Like I said, so this is 6 bills that we have here, right? And 5 of them are by the same person, which is Sheila Lee Jackson. Like I said, she came on the news, a couple of years ago, talking about AR-15s are terrible. They're weapons of war, military-style weapons. They have no place on our streets, and that it's absolutely destructive and weighs too much. She can't carry it, apparently. So, the problem now, though, is with the possible crappy new election president that we might have and them controlling the House and the Senate, they can essentially pass whatever bills that they want. All these bills I just told you about are currently introduced. They haven't passed House yet or passed Senate or made it to the president. But the sooner that we can get ahead of them and start talking about them and let more people know, the easier it should be, hopefully, to actually get these vetoed, because these are very bad, extremely bad. I will leave you off on one positive note for bills. There is a bill currently. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry, I didn't actually have it up. I can't give you the bill number offhand, but I will put it in the description. But essentially, it takes off silencers, suppressors off of the NFA tax stamp list. So it's hearing protection bill or something like that, it's called. But essentially, it would take them off the tax stamp, and you would no longer have to pay the $200 tax stamp or, wait the 1 year or whatnot to get the actual serial number back for the suppressor. And you could make suppressors at home at that point completely legal, because let's face the fact, it is a hearing device. Most people think a suppressor silencer is literally quiet. You'll never hear a shot, and it's not the case. They're completely uneducated about the matter. And so a suppressor, a silencer, is a hearing device. And if it can save my hearing or your hearing or my dog's hearing or a child's hearing, hell yeah, I'm going to use it. Like, it only makes sense. Like, have you never shot a firearm before inside of an enclosed building? It's extremely loud and you will go deaf. You'll lose some of your hearing from not wearing headphones. Sometimes, even if you do have headphones, you can lose some of your hearing. So suppressors are a hearing protection device, and they should be removed from the NFA tax stamp, just like SBRs, because SBRs are not any more deadly or, crazier than a regular rifle. Just because you have a 16-inch barrel doesn't make it any different than having a 10-inch or 11-inch barrel. So the whole idea between SBR and a long barrel rifle is quite honestly stupid. Also, just to mention, there was a guy who recently beat a case that was brought to him about the bump stock. So as you know, bump stocks was outlawed. They were completely banished or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, a guy who was a mental patient wasn't supposed to own a firearm. He was caught with a firearm. He had an AR-15 with a bump stock and a binary trigger on it. They took it to court, and they dropped the charges after a former ATF agent was going to come forward in the case and say that by definition, a bump stock is not a machine gun. Because if you think about it, by definition, a machine gun is anything that you can hold down the trigger and it continuously fires. But with a bump stock and even a binary trigger, the trigger is coming back and forth and just shooting at a faster pace. It's not you're holding it down and it's constantly shooting. You still have to pull the trigger. That is a semi-automatic firearm. That's not an automatic. So by definition, they screwed up. So that just shows you that just because it's law, or just because there's a bill for it, or they say that it's the land of, or was it the word of the law land, is not the case. Court will be the final judge on that. And when you read facts, you just can't argue with it. So again, I just wanted to bring you these 6 bills to your attention. Like I said, I will link them in the description below so you can look at them. Go ahead and share this video with your other 2A, Pro 2A guys. And yeah, let's kick these bills to the curb because they are absolutely garbage. I will catch you guys in the next video. I'll be recording my new gun, hopefully this weekend, or if not this weekend, then definitely next weekend for sure. I haven't told you what it is, but you're going to find out. All right, take care, guys.